fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Athens, Greece, and today we're going to talk about some of the scams you might see when you do come here to Greece. But before I get started, I got to tell you, Greece is a very safe place to visit, so there's not a ton of scams you have to worry about, but there are some things you should be aware of, because some things you think are a scam actually aren't. And that's what I want to kind of start with, is the bread and water scam. Look, if you go to a restaurant in Greece, they'll bring a bottle of water right away, and they'll ask you, would you like bread? The thing is, a lot of people feel that those things should be free. We are bringing a bottle of water to the table. You asked me if I wanted bread. I thought those were free. Those are not free. Now, they're very affordable. They're cheap. You can get them, no big deal. It's not going to put a big, huge dent in your budget, but realize you will be paying for those things, okay? And that's why some tourists get upset, because they don't realize it's not free. It's not a scam. They're just offering that to you because, oh my gosh, it gets so hot here in the summertime, you need to stay hydrated. So take that water, okay? And if you don't want the bread, just say, no thanks, we don't want the bread. And then you don't have to pay for it because they don't bring it to you. Now, another thing that seems like it might be a scam, but really isn't a scam, is in some of the apartment rentals you have around Greece, they'll actually charge you for the air conditioning or the electricity use while you're there. So it's not just the payment to stay there. It's also, hey, we charge a little bit more because you're using the AC. I mean, it's 41 degrees outside. You got it kicked down to 16 Celsius. You're like, it's like 105 outside. You got it set at 45, whatever. Those things, it's not a scam. Like, that is something that is common enough that you should know that if that's on your kind of apartment agreement or your leasing agreement. Now, when you look at actual scams kind of things, when you're going around Greece, honestly, most of the things are going to happen when there's a lot of tourists. Whether you're walking around Santorini, you're in Monty here in Athens, you're in Thessaloniki, you'll have some of the traditional kind of tourist trapping kind of things. And one thing I want to tell you, if anybody offers to give you anything for free, a bracelet, a flower, a toy, anything, just know it's never free. Okay, they're going to want something for you. And they might start with a good conversation. Hey, I like your outfit. Hey, I love what you're doing. Hey, you're looking really good today. Hey, let me tell you something. Just be like, no, thank you, and keep walking, because those free things are never free. They're going to want a donation. They're going to help or something like that. And sometimes they can get a little bit ugly when they don't get that donation when you take things. And do be aware, if you have your kids there, they might just give it to your kid, and your kid grabs everything. As we all know, I mean, they put everything in their mouth, so they're going to do the same thing with that. So do be aware of that. Also, just like anywhere else in big cities, there's lots of tourists. Anytime you got a lot of tourists smashed together, you're going to have pickpockets there. So whether you're in Plaka and Monty here where the tourists are, or even if you're going to the Acropolis up there, when there's so many packed places, there's pickpockets up there too. So do be aware. Use the usual common sense. Keep your wallet in your front pocket. Use your wallet, your money belt, these kind of things. Just make yourself a little bit safer. Leave stuff at your safe at your hotel, so you'll be okay. Also, you may notice in some parts of Greece, there will be beggars there, so do be aware of that. If you want to give, go ahead, but the government recommends not to give to the beggars when you are here. There are social systems to help the people, so something to kind of consider when you're looking to give money out, okay? Now, another set of things you might want to look out for is when you go to restaurants, and in general, like 99.999% of the time, going to a Greek restaurant is an amazing experience with insane amounts of food. I mean, honestly, you think you're scamming them by the amount of food they give you when you order food. I'm like, I only ordered one plate, yet this can feed a large army. Not a small army, but a large army, right? And so there's that side of it. But one thing I would say is when you get your bill, look at the itemized bill, because sometimes they forget to bring that Fanta, or maybe they charge you for a couple waters and you only had one. Just little things like that you just might want to give a heads up on. Just like anywhere else in the world, you want to do that kind of check. And Greece is no stranger to the typical scams you see in other parts of the world. When you're looking at taking taxis, obviously make sure you always ask for the flag fall to make sure they're actually counting correctly instead of getting an estimated price at the end. The 3-card Monty game, I've seen people playing that. You're never going to win unless you're like a 5-year-old, okay? So don't fall for those kind of things. The bird poop scam where they distract you, say, oh, you got some bird poop on you, let me help you out. And then next thing you know, you put your bag down and they help you and they walk off, your bag is gone. You want to be aware of that. And also, I think an important one to mention is the over-friendly, helpful other tourists when you're here. Because Greeks in general are super helpful and super kind, and they're going to want you to have a great time when you're here. So you have that Greek hospitality. But sometimes you want to be just aware of that, especially if you're going to be going to Santorini, Mykonos, where there's somebody at a bar that's super friendly, and there you go, oh, let's get some drinks. I've had students whose job is actually to inspire people to buy more drinks when they go to bars and restaurants in the islands here in Greece. So do be aware of that maybe that person that wants you to have a good time isn't necessarily doing it because they want you to have a good time. It's because they want you to buy more drinks, and therefore they make a little commission off of that. And some people feel sometimes going to some of the islands feels like a scam, like how many tourists there are there in Santorini, and all the tourists that are at Mykonos kind of drives those prices up higher than they should be, and it feels kind of scammy. And that's why I say, look, there's other islands. There's dozens of inhabited islands you can go to here in Greece that are fantastic to visit. Do your research to make sure you're getting the right island for you, because sometimes it feels like a tourist trap kind of scammy kind of island visit if you're choosing the wrong island. Another scam I want you to warn you about is the phone on top of the table. It's not a scam, it's just people have all these great pictures they're taking when they're going around Athens, they're going around some of the islands, and they leave their phone on top of the table. But the problem is, you leave your phone on top of the table and there's all the tourists going by, you don't notice when someone walks by and swipes it, okay? So make sure you're keeping your phone in your pocket, you're keeping it in like near you just to be safe. But honestly, you come to Greece, there's not a lot you really have to worry about because there's not a ton of scams. The people are super friendly and super helpful. They want to make sure you have a good time. So honestly, you can kind of chill when you are here when it comes to scams, but I just wanted you to know a few of them you might want to look out for. Anyway, I hope you have a great time here in Greece. It's a wonderful place. Bye from Athens.